So I don't believe there's a bigger show of confidence in one's product than putting out a 7 days of open beta for it, multiple months before the game even comes out. If for some reason any of you have been living under a rock recently, you should know that Capcom is actually getting ready with a massive demo for Monster Hunter Wilds, beginning October 29th and running up until November 4th. And the thing about this is that it looks really good. We get access to one of the first open world maps, to the multiplayer components, to character creation, which looks really good, the 2 major boss fights among others, some of the story intermissions, and at the end of it, also some participation goodies that you can carry over to the full game. And we're going to talk about all of that and more, and how to prepare for it, as we have a couple more days until that happens. And by the way, to celebrate the demo period, I'm also going to give away a deluxe edition copy of Monster Hunter Wilds for pretty much every platform. All you have to do is to be a subscriber of the channel, leave a comment down below, and also give this video a thumbs up, and I will announce the winner about 1 week after the demo is fully finished. And then we're gonna follow up with other, of course, giveaways as we're getting closer to the 28th of February launch date. But beginning with the playtime, yeah, PlayStation 5 users that also have a PS Plus subscription get the earliest access pretty much 2 days in advance, beginning Tuesday 29th October at 3 AM GMT, and it will last up until Thursday 31st of October, also 3 AM GMT. For everybody else, including Xbox Series X and S, as well as Steam, this is going to start for you on Friday, the 1st of November, and it will last up until Monday, 4th of November, which means if you are a PS5 player with that early access from PlayStation Plus, you can pretty much play for almost an entire week before the game even comes out, which is absolutely crazy. Now, they did note here that some of the starting times may be subject to change, but to be honest, at this point, it looks pretty much set in stone. Now, in terms of the game download, the preload is actually going to start 1 day before each respective time window. So in the case of the super early access, you get to download that on Monday, 28th of October. Meanwhile, for everybody else, including Xbox and Steam users, you get to do this on Thursday, 31st of October, also at 3 AM, which is actually not too bad. We get 1 day in advance to prep up and have the game fully installed. In terms of the install size, it's about 29 gigs minimum of free space they require on pretty much all platforms. However, for the full install, it's recommended you have 140 gigs, and that's also SSD that is required because of the direct storage, and also because you're going to have some frame generation tag going on over there, so you definitely want this. Plus the maps are huge. We have an open world map design now, but minimum specs don't look that bad actually, at least in terms of the minimum. 30 FPS, 1080p, you only need Core i3 12th gen and upwards, of course, but that is quite manageable. Also, 16 gigs of memory RAM is definitely required, but GPU only GTX 1660 or equivalent AMD, which is not too bad. 6 gigs of video RAM, that is actually quite manageable. In terms of recommended specs, if you want to play 60 FPS, 1080p and above, and of course have better graphics, you're going to want at least a Core i5 11th gen or equivalent from AMD. Again, 16 gigs or above of memory RAM, and at least a 2070 Super or 4060 RTX, again, or equivalent from AMD. Now, the main map we're going to get access to over here is going to be the Windward Plains. This is that very vibrant first setting that we've seen announced out of the 3 that have been shown up until now for Monster Hunter Wilds. But the Windward Plains are a diverse region filled with sandy deserts, swaying grasslands, twisting rock formations, and other natural features. As a member of the research expedition charged with investigating the Forbidden Lands, the Windward Plains is the first new hunting locale that you'll visit. And there's a cool feature over here that they have, and that is that this land experiences an inclemency known as the Sandtide, a great sandstorm roiling with thunder. I do wonder if we will have access to that in the demo, or if it's just something reserved to the full game, but I would absolutely love to see that. Now, we do also have access to a couple of the boss fights in this region. One of them is going to be the Doshaguma. This is that bison slash bear looking creature. It walks in packs, by the way, so this is the perfect time to also use one of the new tools to disperse large packs of enemies, to single out individuals, and we are going to have to fight the alpha of this group. Looks really awesome. It's going to give us some proper opportunities to test out some of the new weapons. And before that, we have an earlier version, which is the Katakabra. This is going to be part of kind of like the demo sort of trial tutorial, which is going to give us all the information about the combat, the buttons, and how it actually works. Especially for new time players, you will be pleased to know that the game guides you a little bit in this boss fight. Now, the demo also gives us full access to the entire character creator with its full extent. We have a lot of options for the faces, for the body. As you can see, you can pretty much create and go with any look you want to. And this is just a pure, no BS, very good looking character creator. It just like looks really good. The character faces are just gorgeous, and you're probably going to spend a lot of time fine-tuning the character you really want. Even for the palico, you have options between different presets, but you can go with more detailed fine-tuning if you want to. And it goes a step beyond that, because you can go ahead and recreate your character as many times as you want to just test out different looks, different face and voice combinations. Pretty much anything you want to, you can go ahead and do in this demo, like almost you had access to the full game. But it goes one final step beyond that, and that is that you also get to transfer all of this character looks data, as well as for your palico, to the full version of the game. And there's a wiki entry over here that pretty much explains it. You will need an internet connection, of course, as these characters will be saved server side. But if you have internet connection, you can then transfer your character data to the full version. So the character data created in the OBT will be saved on the server and will be available to you when creating your character in the full version. But do note that only character data from character creation can be transferred. No other data will carry over. So for example, your save game progression, fights, and even items will obviously not carry over. Also, character data from the creation may not carry over to the full version due to unexpected behavior or malfunctions. They did give a disclaimer in case something goes wrong. Now, as a bonus for participating in this demo period, you also get a bunch of goodies that will transfer to the full game. So this includes the open beta bonus pendant, which is this small bear looking figurine that you can just apply either to your weapon or apply it to your mount. In this case, just have it dangle over there when you move. But you also get the bonus item spec, which gives you like 10 mega potions, about 5 rations, some life powder, max potion, herbal medicine, nullberry, armor sphere, and so on. Basically just stuff that will help you in like the first starting stages. Now, besides this, we also have a button guide to better prepare for the combat. We can of course also see all of this in game via the weapons control, but we have some of this over here too, including up arrow, which is how we call our sacred, our mount. This is going to help us a ton if we get knocked out, and we can call this mount to help us to get out of trouble, like especially if an attack is about to land on us. But we can also use it to automatically guide us to our objective. Beyond this, we also have the focus mode. This will be very important because as we deal damage to enemies, this creates wounds and reveals weak points, so we can highlight that with the focus mode by holding down L2 on the controller. And we can even unleash focus strikes holding down L2 plus R1 to deal massive damage to those weak points, which is going to come in quite handy. Moving on, we can also use the SOS flare to call for support. This works both to bring in other players so that we can do all of this multiplayer and have other friends or other people help us. But if you don't have a connection or don't want to play with anybody else, you can still use this and have NPC support come in instead. So these are AI controlled hunters that may prove just as useful in combat. You pull this off, by the way, with holding down L1 and then selecting it with the right bumper. From that point on, we also have the breaking up of monster packs. So this is, by the way, only for the Shogunate hunt, but you can load a large dunk pod into your slinger and fire it at the pack. Like I said, this is one of those mechanics that disperses groups of enemies. So while holding L1, you can select square and circle at the same time, load the ammo with square, and then L2 to hold and aim the slinger, plus L2 and R2, which is going to fire that ammo, and that's going to help you a ton in that situation. And yeah, that pretty much concludes today's video. Let me know down below if you're planning to jump into the demo. We're also going to do some live streams surrounding it. So if you want to hang out and chill and maybe even do some party, combos and creature hunting, we are definitely going to do so, but more on that later. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.